karibu kwenye Sema na Citizen. Nafahamika kama Lulu Hassan. Mtazamaji, kama ilivyo ada kila mwaka hii leo ambapo ni Februari tarehe 13, ulimwengu unaadhimisha siku ya redio duniani. Maudhui ya mwaka huu ikiwa majadiliano, uvumilivu na amani. Na katika siku hii mtazamaji, Gunga na fursa ya kuzungumza na Fred Afune, mkurugenzi wa redio katika kampuni ya Royal Media Services na gwiji wa masuala ya utangazaji kupitia redio. Na Gunga, naarifiwa kwamba uko naye gwiji wa masuala ya utangazaji kupitia redio, na si mwingine bali ni Fred Afune.
Ndio Lulu, kama ulivyosema tu, nimepata fursa leo kuongea na gwiji wa redio katika kampuni ya Royal Media Services, leo ikiwa tarehe 13 mwezi Februari mwaka 2020. Siku ambayo dunia inaadhimisha siku ya redio ulimwenguni. Na leo maudhui yakiwa kukumbatia utofauti uliopo katika jamii na fani ya uanahabari kabisa na mambo ambayo yanapeperusha hewani. Basi leo pengine tu aweze kutueleza, kwa sababu kituo cha Royal Media Services kimebahatika kuwa na vituo 13 vya redio ambavyo vinapeperusha taarifa na mambo mengine katika lugha tofauti ambazo Kenya inajivunia siku hii ya leo. Pengine tu swali sasa, ambapo kwa mkuu wa kitengo cha redio Fred Afune aweze kutueleza pengine enzi za redio miaka ulioingia kufikia sasa, utofauti wake ni upi?
I'm still stuck. Please. A lot of changes have happened over the years. I've been here for about 16 years, from one radio station to 13 radio stations. I've been in communications for about 20 years before that, in advertising. So from one radio, the government radio station, which was one Swahili national service and the English service. Then we got Capital and Metro FM, which was still owned by the state. Then other players came in, the Kiss FMs, our group and other players. There's been a lot of change. There's been massive growth in terms of investors in the business and in terms of the players in the market so far. Also technological changes, from a long time ago when you used to have shortwave, medium wave and AM radio. In terms of regulation also, it was very difficult to get licenses to operate radio broadcast because of the era we were living in at that time, when the government really needed to control what the common mwananchi could see and hear, to a level where we have over 300 radio stations right now and hundreds of TV stations.
You talk about vituo 300 vya redio sahizi ambavyo vipo nchini. Je, pengine katika hali ambayo pengine serikali imeachilia kuwepo kwa vituo vingi vya redio, inaleta uwiano ama inaharibu biashara kiupande mwingine?
No, it's very good for the economy. First of all, you've got more investors getting in the industry. You're creating employment opportunities for thousands, hundreds of young Kenyans who are talented in that field, have been trained in the field. You've got investors getting a return on investment. So as a business, it has been a really good business for most people. So I think it has helped. And also just developing people, especially community radio stations, what we call vernaculars. The empowering people, especially in the rural areas where most of our masses are to be found, in terms of the politics of the day, the economy, the economic activities that they need to get into, healthcare. Those kind of things have been helped a lot by having these community radios. We've really empowered communities. Growing industries, fast broadcast. Most young people did not believe that there's a job in vernacular broadcasting. How many people are going to college today knowing that they are going to be vernacular broadcasters? Awareness and asking accountability from their leadership, especially in the political talk shows, asking questions, very local questions, because you have to localize a lot of content. If you have like a Maragoli station, it has to deal with issues that are in Maragoli and empower people. Music industries. When we started the Meru station, we only had, they used to play mostly Kikuyu music. They didn't have their own industry to speak of. Today they've got their own robust music industry because they had a platform for their art to be seen.
So these vernacular radio stations, hizi redio za kikabila tofauti ama lugha tofauti humu nchini, hazileti ukabila, hazikuzi ukabila katika taifa ambalo tumeng'ang'ana sana kuongea kuhusu masuala ya ukabila, hususan inapofikia wakati joto la siasa linapanda humu nchini.
It can't do that if it's abused, but in and of itself, a language is just a language. It has nothing to do with dividing people. People divide people. It's not languages. We should be proud of our languages. They are spoken widely in this country. For some, it is the primary language of communication, and it's the best way to understand the issues of the day, education and entertainment. So, I mean, the narrative that broadcasting in a certain language will cause friction. You can do that in any language. You can incite people in English. You can incite people in Swahili. You can incite people, and we do not. Ours is to appreciate our diversity, celebrate our cultures, our rich languages, and celebrate because everyone comes from somewhere, and there is a culture there to be celebrated, not something to be ashamed of.
Ya, awali ulikuwa umetueleza kuhusu jinsi kitambo ulikuwa ni sharti upate permit ya kuweza kufanya kazi kumiliki kituo cha redio ama pengine televisheni. Je, kwa sasa na jinsi ambavyo mambo yamezidi kubadilika, unaona redio miaka ijayo itakuwa imefikia wapi?
I think a long time ago there are two things. There used to be, first of all, there were no they didn't allow, they had not liberalized the media business, so it was solely the government. And to fund the operations of KBC, because they didn't want to rely too much on advertising, everybody who owned a radio or a TV had to have a permit. That is, I think it was an annual permit to own the box, the TV and the radio box. Over time, I think that went away when the era was liberalized and KBC became as competitive in terms of advertising. But from that, those were different days. Right now, even modes of transmission are changing. Radio is going digital. Radio will be there. I'm asked that question a lot everywhere. What is the future of radio? Radio was supposed to be killed by television in 1927 when the first live TV broadcast was done, and they were saying that television is going to kill the radio star. We are still here with the radio, and it's also a passive you can consume radio while doing other things. So as long as people drive cars, until we get self-driven cars as mass market vehicles in a market like Kenya and most third world countries, the only thing you listen to in your car is you'll have conversation, you listen to radio, or you will listen to music. But how long will you listen to music without the need to feed that information craving? So radio will be there. It will be consumed differently in different platforms. People will spend less time listening to it, but a lot more people are listening to it right now. And also the products that most radio stations are doing, podcasts and posting them, so you listen to them when and if you want. There's live streaming of your radio. You don't really need to
on a radio set.
Like I used to walk around with a radio set a long time ago, but now I don't need to, because with these tabs and the internet connection, you can get any radio station anywhere in the world. So that's the future of radio, as long as people need information, entertainment. What I see is that maybe there will not be much room for mass stations. It will be niche stations. If you like Mashairis, you will have a station for Mashairis. There will not be a lot of people, but there will be diehard Mashairi fans in there. We have reggae stations now. There will be jazz stations going forward. There will be stations dedicated to fashion, There'll be stations dedicated to travel. If you're a hardcore business person and you only need business information, there are stations that will do that. If you are a news junkie, there'll be stations for news.
Yeah, you talk about how television ilikuwa imekuja kuzima nyota ya redio. Je, unadhani ni kipi ambacho kimefanikisha redio kustahimili makali ya broadcast zingine kama televisheni na online platforms?
First, it's intimate. It's a very intimate medium. Radio is consumed in very personal spaces that you will not find other mediums easily. Radio is passive. I don't have to stop. We can be talking right now and my radio is in the background, so I zone in and out of it. Unlike television, which I have to be an active participant as in, really. And also it plays around with your imagination, because you have to imagine what the presenter looks like, how they look like. On TV, we agree, all of us in this room, that that guy on TV is wearing a black shirt. But on radio, we can never agree about that. Yeah, and then it's a very, most of the time it has been, especially in the interactions. Before it was cards, then the phones, then the SMSs right now, and the social media platforms. So the reaction is immediate. When we are talking, the interaction with the audience is immediate.
Shukran sana kwa kutupatia fursa ya kuweza kuongea na sisi leo kuhusu redio awali na sasa. Hatuchukulii mzaha.
Shukuru.
Na ni mojawapo tu ya maneno ambayo utasikia kuhusiana na redio leo na hata kitambo, kutoka kwa wale ambao walikuwa wako katika fani hii tangu awali.